dear students. Welcome to Biology Online Classroom of Sri Gokulam Public School, Guruvayur. I am Rajashree, your biology teacher. We already completed our first chapter. Did you study? I hope you studied well. So let's start our second chapter, Control and Coordination today. I would like to start our class by a beautiful quote. The harder you work for something, the greater you will feel when you achieve it. So my dear students, prepare a timetable, study timetable at your home and work hard for a good result. So let us discuss about control and coordination today. Which system in our body helps for control and coordination? We studied about so many systems in the first chapter, right? Which system help to control and coordinate various activities in our body? Yes, it is none other than our great nervous system, right? So let us discuss about this nervous system in today's class. Not only this nervous system but also muscular and endocrine systems help for this control and coordination. Okay, so nervous system, muscular system and also endocrine system helps for control and coordination. Clear? So as you know students, nervous system formed of brain, spinal cord and also nerves, right? So there are mainly two types of nervous system, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system, that is CNS, and peripheral nervous system PNS. Central nervous system includes brain and spinal cord. Central nervous system includes brain and spinal cord, but the peripheral nervous system includes all the nerves that is branch out from this brain and spinal cord and extends to various parts of our body. Clear? Central nervous system includes only brain and spinal cord, but the peripheral nervous system includes all the nerves that is branch out from brain and spinal cord and to extends to various parts of our body. Nervous tissue is formed of organized network of nerve cells. Nerve cells are the longest cells in our body. What is the other name of these nerve cells? Yes, neurons. I think you studied about these neurons in your previous classes, the structure and function and all, right? So what is the function of these nerve cells? They help to conduct the messages from brain to different parts of our body and also in reverse direction, isn't it? Okay, so what are the major parts of this nervous? Can you recollect that? Yes, one cell body is the dendrites, axon, and which is the last one? That is the nerve endings or synaptic nodes. So I will explain in detail about the structure. This is the structure of a neuron. Now I am drawing the cell body of the neuron. The cell body of a neuron has a centrally placed nucleus and it is surrounded by cytoplasm. The cytoplasm contains granules called Nissls granules. These are the branch-like structures called as dendrites. And the function of these dendrites to collect the messages in the form of electrical impulses. And now I am drawing the longest part of the neuron called axon. And this is the myelin sheath. Myelin sheath cover the axon. And the last part of the neuron are nerve endings. Nerve endings are also called as synaptic knobs. So, this is cell body. So, axon. This is nerve ending. The dendrites collect the messages in the form of electrical impulses and it is transported through the cell body, axon, and finally reaches to the nerve endings. And that time the nerve endings produce some chemicals called as neurotransmitters. These neurotransmitters help for the easiest conduction of the message from one neuron to the next neuron. Children, so the messages are collected by dendrites in the form of electrical impulses, and these messages are conducted through the cell body, then through the axon, and finally reaches the nerve endings of neuron. And that time they release some chemicals called neurotransmitters. These are the nerve endings of first neuron and which are connected to the dendrites of the second neuron. The functional junction between two adjacent neurons is called as a synapse. Sometimes the nerve endings are connected to the muscles. These are called as neuromuscular junction. My dear children, we can detect all information from our environment. How? Yes, with the help of our sense organs. How many sense organs do we have? We have 5 sense organs, right? What are these sense organs? Ear, eye, nose, tongue and skin, right? So these sense organs have sense receptors and these sense receptors are in turn connected to the sensory neurons. That is why we can detect the changes in the environment, right? We can get the information from the environment, right? So are you familiar with the word gustatory and olfactory? Gustatory receptors are there. Gustatory receptors are located on our tongue. Then what may be its function? It had to detect the taste. Okay, so olfactory receptors are seen inside our nose, right? So what may be its function? Olfactory receptors help to detect the smell. Our next topic is reflex action. Reflex actions are sudden, involuntary and unconscious responses to a stimulus without the will of an individual. For example, when you touch a hot object, you suddenly withdraw your hands without thinking, right? When a light ray strikes on your eyeball, suddenly blink your eyes without thinking, right? So these are the examples of reflex actions. So all these take place without the will of an individual. That is why they are called as involuntary actions, right? So these are the reflex actions. All the activities in our body except these reflex actions are controlled by our brain. But who controls our reflex actions? It is controlled by spinal cord. But brain has a role in reflex action. What may be the role of brain in reflex action? The reflex actions are controlled by spinal cord, but a copy of the memory is stored inside the brain. So that is why we can remember when that incident happened. Okay, so a copy of the memory stored inside the brain. That is the role of brain in reflex action. A reflex arc is the pathway of nerve involved in reflex action. When you touch a hot object, the receptors on our skin, they send message, and this message is carried by sensory neuron to the spinal cord. Spinal cord processes the message and send impulses to the concerned part of the body in the form of response. So that response is carried by relay neuron and motor neuron to the effector muscle. The effector muscle responds against the stimulus, and thereby we can withdraw our hands. A copy of this reflex action is also stored inside the brain. Now let us discuss about some of the important questions of this portion asked in previous years of CBSE board exam question papers. Okay. So one mark question. First one mark question is, name two specialized tissues that provide control and coordination in multicellular organisms. Year is 2016. Answer is muscular, nervous and also endocrine tissues. Okay, you can write any two of these tissues. Then the second question is, state the function of gustatory receptors and olfactory receptors. Gustatory receptors help to detect the taste. Olfactory receptors help to detect the smell. Okay, the next question. It is a 2-mark question. 2-mark question. Define neuron and name the parts of the neuron where information is acquired. Information is acquired in which region? Dendrites, right? And name the parts of the neuron where impulse must be converted into a chemical signal for onward transmission. So the neurotransmitters are released in the nerve ending. So in that region the impulse converted into chemical signals. Okay, answer is nerve ending. So you can otherwise write it as synaptic knobs. What is neuron? What is neuron? How can we define neuron? It is the functional and structural unit of nervous system. It is the functional and structural unit of nervous system. And another 2-mark question which is asked in 2016 again. Name one gustatory receptor and one olfactory receptor present in human beings. Gustatory receptor is tongue and olfactory receptor is nose. Then write A and B in the given flow chart of neuron through which information travels as an electrical impulse. Okay, the flow chart is like this. Dendrite, one arrow mark, then A. Then one arrow mark, B. Then again one arrow mark, end of the neuron. Okay, so from dendrites the information conducted to the cell body, you know. Right? So A is cell body. Then what may be B? From cell body information conducted to the axon. So B is axon. That is the answer. And then next one is a 3-mark question asked in 2012. Draw and label a neuron. Explain how it carries messages. So it's a very important question asked many times. So you should learn how to draw the structure of neuron and also draw this diagram in your notebook. Don't forget. So how these messages transported. So messages transported in the form of electrical impulses. Okay, and when it reaches the synaptic nerve or nerve endings of the neurons, it releases a chemical called neurotransmitters. It helps for the easy conduction of the messages. Okay, so from one neuron to the next neuron, the messages conducted with the help of these neurotransmitters. So explain these points in this answer. Okay, then the question which is asked is, what is reflex arc and what are the components of reflex arc? And this question asked in 2011. What is reflex arc? All the nerves which is connected together to help the reflex action. That is called as a reflex arc, right? Okay, then which are neurons? What are the components of reflex arc? What are the components of reflex arc? Sensory, from stimulus. You have to write from the stimulus itself. Stimulus is detected by the receptors, and then two sensory neurons, then spinal cord, relay neuron, motor neuron, and finally effector muscles. Okay, so these are all the questions asked in a previous year's question paper from this portion. So my dear students, study well. My dear children, I attached an URL to watch the animation of this topic, and also I attached the notes of this portion. Download the notes and write these notes in your notebook and attend the test paper. See you in the next class with another one topic. Till then, bye.